I haven't had a day off in 6 days. I'm so tired, you guys. Okay. I think a lot of people assume I just woke up one morning and decided to leave and then pick Jamaica at that, like a random. That's actually not what happened. This decision has been one of the most thought out decisions I've ever made. So, how did we get here? Sit with me. Let's talk. My landlord and I have we've become really close over the years, and I'm so thankful and grateful for him. About a year ago, he told me he was planning to move back to his country. The moment he told me that, I knew my time here was coming to an end too. Not because he told me, I had to leave or anything, but I was already outgrowing the space. And without him here, I knew it wouldn't feel the same. My utilities are included. He's never raised my rent. I knew this fairy tale wasn't going to last forever. And whatever I choose next has to make sense for the life I'm trying to build. This isn't going to be the first time I've moved out of New York. But making this move now is different than my past moves. The world is just different right now. When I first moved out of New York, I moved to Florida. I literally had nothing. I packed up my a rental, $500 to my name, and it worked out. I met some amazing people, got a job in my industry. Within no time, I was living. Florida was nice. Now I won't even take a connecting flight through there. I hate that state. Another time in my life, I packed up and moved to Cali. I love Cali. Again, no backup plan. But that was then and this is now. I have to look at everything from state laws, the economy, the cost of living. I also had to be honest with myself about what matters in my everyday life. I'm a black woman, and I wanted to live somewhere politically aligned with me. And because I smoke weed, I wanted to remain somewhere it was legal. Cali was just not an option this time. The cost of living in Cali right now is astronomical. I didn't want to work just to pay bills. Like, that's what I'm running from. I need to be in a city but have close access to water. Those are my requirements. So I created a list and I started planning my trips. First on my list was New Jersey. It's right there, a train away from work. Nothing crazy. I was looking at Jersey City and a few other parts. Now, I don't want to move too far into Jersey and turn my commute to hell just to save a dollar. Like, that would make me miserable. So I booked an Airbnb, stayed for a week, and I did the commute. It was nice, a luxury apartment. The commute was easy some days. Then I saw the average cost for rent, $2,400 for one bedroom. Now I couldn't afford that, but damn, I had to think long and hard if I could accept most of my paycheck going towards rent. Now I know I'm spoiled with my current situation, but fuck. Now the commute. Some days were a headache with the New Jersey Transit. One time my train was canceled and the only way back was an Uber. Let's just say an expensive experiment I would never do again. It was on the water, but dealing with the transit that one time, it turned me off. Next up was North Carolina, preferably Charlotte. Again, I love that place. I took a trip and stayed downtown. Beautiful place. The food is so good. During COVID, a lot of people started leaving and going down south. Charlotte became a very popular city. So I knew if I wanted to get an apartment there, I would be paying close to New York City prices or I'd have to go further out. Now, I viewed some apartments outside of Charlotte, okay, in areas that were up and coming, dirt, new construction. But the prices weren't going down. Not at all. Now, North Carolina is known for having a strong healthcare job market. And starting the beauty studio again in a growing, diverse neighborhood, it could work. But then I started thinking about everyday life. If I moved to North Carolina, something that's completely normal and legal in my life now would suddenly become illegal. I'd have to find a plug, I'd have to make some call. Like, I didn't want to be bothered with all of that. I don't know, but it made on my list. I think it was the food. There's another reason for this move. My body hurts. In the winter, my joints swell and become extremely painful. Despite going to numerous doctors, top specialists, no one can figure out what's wrong with me. Like, no one can figure out why it happens. And I'm exhausted from it. The only solution I've been given is opioids, which at one point I started taking, but quickly realized how addictive the feeling could be, and it's not good. I didn't like it. And that's it for America. My options were few and far between. Everywhere I was seriously considering, the apartments I actually liked and felt safe started at around $2,400 and up. I'm going to be working just to pay bills, doing overtime for a little extra. On top of my healthcare job, I might need to find another job because now I have to factor in so much stuff. Again, I could do it, but I don't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I would not be able to save a dime. If I'm going to spend majority of my paycheck on bills, I want a life that feels more connected to my body, okay? That's when I started looking abroad. If I'm going to be working just to pay bills, I want access to sunlight, water, fresh food. Mexico. Mexico was high on my list. I have a lot of clients and colleagues that left during COVID and moved to various parts. Now, I don't speak Spanish, and although a lot of the expat communities are diverse, I knew, and I know people there. I don't want to live somewhere and not be able to understand what's happening around me. Like learning Spanish would have to become a real priority. Now, I've been taking Spanish lessons on and off, but yeah, no. The more I research, the more I realize moving abroad isn't as simple as people make it seem on social media. There are visas, issues, residency requirements, rules that change. I watch creators build lives in different places only to have to pack up and move back home. Once I leave here, I don't want issues with that. I don't want to deal with that. I want to make money and breathe. I joined a few expat groups and started deep diving into Jamaica. Now, those expat groups, useful, but yeah. That's a story for another day. Okay. The research eventually led me home. I started looking at Jamaica as somewhere I could build a life. I took a few trips. I stayed in Airbnbs in a few different places. I rented a car. I wanted to know what everyday life would tell. What I would feel like just existing, buying groceries, waking up every day. Across 2 trips in almost 2 months, I stopped asking myself if I could live in Jamaica and started asking myself, why am I trying so hard to convince myself to live anywhere else? The life available to me there felt more nourishing than anything I've experienced in a long time. If I'm not choosing Jamaica, I'm not choosing Jamaica because I think like Jamaica life like a perfect and Jamaica is easy. Jamaica just feels more connected to the life I'm trying to build. That's how we got here. Okay? Yeah. And yes, Jamaica is a place all about the link. You need to know links, you need to have links or it's going to be very hard. And I know that. Trust me. I know that. Yeah.